So Revelation 3:15 through 20 says this about Laodicea. I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot. I could wish you were cold or hot. So then, because you are lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will vomit you out of my mouth. Because you say, I am rich and become wealthy and have need of nothing. Notice that the Laodicean church, which is an apostate church, has money. Okay? The Philadelphia church, the remnant church, has little money. Notice the contrast. Notice that the greatest purveyors of apostasy in America are the mega churches. Okay? The ones that have the most money typically are pushing apostasy. Okay? Anyway, and do not know that you are wretched, miserable, poor, blind, and naked. And he's talking about their spiritual condition. Okay? Verse 18, I counsel you to buy from me gold refined in the fire, that you may be rich, and white garments, that you may be clothed, that the shame of your nakedness may not be revealed. And anoint your eyes with eye salve, that you may see. As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Therefore, be zealous and repent. Now, this is interesting that he's talking to the Laodicean church, and he's saying, as many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Therefore, be zealous and repent. That's language spoken to believers who are apostate. See, this is the one thing we have to understand about apostasy. Unfortunately, Calvinism has taught wrongly that believers can't apostate, can't apostatize, I should say. That's totally wrong. Because if I take in all the scriptures about apostasy, it's not talking about a departure of unbelievers from the church. It's talking about a departure of believers from the church. The nature of apostasy is they're leaving previously held beliefs and going to worldly beliefs. They are worldly Christians. And so when he says, as many as I love, I rebuke and chasten, it's the idea of a parent, and you can see this in Hebrews chapter 12, of a parent disciplining his own children. And that's what he's saying. It's not referring to unbelievers. It is a reference to apostate believers. And that's what we're seeing. One of the I don't know about you, but the biggest thing I'm seeing is I'm seeing believers who held to the truth, who I know are saved and have been serving the Lord for years and years and years, now falling away from, well, I don't believe this anymore. I don't believe that anymore. And they're departing. They're departing. That's what we're seeing. So what does Jesus say? Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and dine with him and he with me. What does that mean? That is not a salvation passage. That is a fellowship passage. These apostate Christians are out of fellowship with the Lord. And the idea of dining has to do with fellowship. Okay? The idea, though, of being lukewarm, which is the Laodicean church, is he says they're neither hot nor cold. Now, most people misunderstand what that means. He says, I wish you were hot or cold, which means that you had, if you were not apostatizing, you would have a value in being useful to the kingdom, being useful to the gospel, because the coldness could give a cold cup of water to people, but the hot water could be therapeutic. Okay, so either hot or cold, you're still useful for the Lord. And cold and hot doesn't mean spiritual cold or hotness. It means being useful. Okay, so just like a cold cup of water or like hot water being used in therapy. So being lukewarm spiritually means to be useless to the Messiah. He can't use them any longer. And hence, these Christians that are apostatizing are useless to him. They will not be rewarded. In fact, they will lose rewards in all of this. And so, they are rendering themselves useless. Doesn't mean they're not saved. It just means they're useless. They're now being shelved because of their apostasy. Okay?